Oh man, I had a really bad dream like this one time.
Ever been in a work meeting that could have just been an email? The Callisto Protocol is the video game equivalent of that. The Callisto Protocol is definitely a game, and this one frustrates me because for every good thing I can say about it, 3 bad ones follow right behind it. When I heard that Glenn Schofield, the co-creator of Dead Space, was making a new horror experience, I thought, okay, this should be lit, right? What I got instead was an aggressively mid sci-fi horror experience. Hi, I'm Mateo Vert, your favorite backlog gamer, and this is my escape from Black Iron Prison and this mediocre game. I already know someone's probably typing, well, look at the reviews. Of course it was bad. I can't do voices. First off, I'm no sheep. I think for myself. I like to form opinions from my own experiences, which allows me to hate on things at my fullest potential. We live in a time where reviews aren't always reliable. They told me this game copies Dead Space, and that's not true. It copies Dead Space, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill. Come on, give the game full credit on copying homework but slightly rewriting the answers. The first hour I was impressed, even intrigued. The production value was there. Melee combat feels responsive, especially with the adaptive triggers on the PS5 controller. It really gives that extra attention, but it gets repetitive really quickly.
I don't know. I'm starting to get kind of bored with this combat. I really hope we get some new upgrades soon.
The atmosphere is creepy and gross, especially with the section that looks like, I don't know, the devil's anus? But I feel the game doesn't take full advantage of it. You just go from one area, beat some mutants to a pulp, go to another area, rinse, repeat. For a while I thought maybe I was the problem, since I went to the Grand Canyon once and was not impressed. But then I remembered my Dead Space and Resident Evil 2 playthroughs and how the atmosphere really sucked me in. Pause. Then there's the story. The story of Callisto Protocol is very lacking, and in my opinion, the thing that overall brings this game down. It's like when you ask someone a yes or no question and they choose other and then give you an earful without ever answering your original question. That was Callisto Protocol's story in a nutshell. The first half is a prison escape that goes on way too long, then some sort of sci-fi conspiracy on the back end. Both were very underwhelming. Let's start at the top. You are Jacob Lee, a pilot who moves cargo when you're attacked by a terrorist group and crash land on Black Iron Prison. When the security arrives on the scene, they lock up the terrorist leader, but for reasons never explained, they lock up Jacob too. I guess it was to be part of the experiment? After getting the Rikers welcome, immediately things go to shit. Mutants have overrun the prison, so now it's time to fight for our lives. We meet Elias, who's our guy in the chair during the prison escape. He is likable, but we don't know much about him besides that he was locked up for killing in self-defense. From here, the story is go from point A to point B and try not to get turned to paste on the way. Lore is spoon-fed to us through logs, but after a while I kinda zoned out because the traversal sections were just so bland. In a nutshell, the warden is a bad man who's been doing bad things. One of the guards, Captain Ferris, is your textbook, peaked in high school kind of bully. He acts as a foe to Jacob, or at least the game gaslights me into thinking that. Their parallels are Ferris is mean and Jacob is not? We escape the prison and Elias dies in the process. He was a voice in our ear for most of the game, so I really didn't feel much to be honest. Danny, the woman who caused our crash to begin with, slides in to take Elias' place as our companion for the rest of the game. The second half of this game is about slowly unraveling why Danny hijacked us before turning into a hard political thriller. To summarize, Danny's home planet of Europa was used as a testing site for the virus the warden helped develop. Jacob was the one who delivered it, and the warden's part of a group of wealthy elites trying to shape the future of humanity. Man, things were so much simpler when we were just trying to escape prison. During the chaos, Danny gets infected, so Jacob needs to mix her blood with that of the alpha mutant. It sucks that sounded cooler than it actually is. The alpha turns out to be Captain Ferris, who managed to keep his consciousness after getting infected. You know, with him being called like the alpha mutant, I feel like there's an Andrew Tate joke here. Like, this is the incel's final form. So, after an underwhelming final boss, we cure Danny. The warden cuts his losses and triggers the self-destruct and reveals he was never at the prison.
Mr. Lee, I do hope you've enjoyed your stay at Black Iron.
Oh, now this man did not just tee up a sequel. Trying to tee up a sequel, which, the audacity. I don't think that is happening. But like for real, imagine we get a sequel to this and not Dead Space 2 remake. Like, Bruh, I don't want to live in that world. During the self-destruct, there's only one escape pod. Jacob lets Danny take it while he stays behind. And that's how the game ends. I wish. There's a DLC called Final Transmission, which is supposed to be the true ending. Upon loading in and realizing I lost all my upgrades I grinded for, I couldn't be bothered. I looked up a YouTube video and boy was I happy I did. The mission takes place in Jacob's head as he's on life support. The doctor responsible for creating the infection is trying to redeem herself by transmitting Jacob's memory to Danny so that she can have the evidence she needs to expose the Shadow Organization. That's it. Doesn't change my opinion on the story, unfortunately. But surely the gameplay makes up for it, right? Right? This might be a hot take, but I think the gameplay in Callisto Protocol was one of its strengths. It doesn't redeem the game, but it starts off interesting only to slowly disappoint by the end. It had potential with the whole left stick dodge or block system. Here's the problem, once you get the gun, it completely trivializes the game. You get more guns as you progress and the final boss can't even be meleeed. Not to mention, it's more efficient to just use insta-kill stealth attacks or your telekinesis glove to throw enemies into environmental hazards.
Well, I think I miscalculated. Oh no.
Now me personally, I use melee just because I thought it felt visceral. Seeing Jacob unleash his rage on a necromorph, whatever they're called, was oddly satisfying. But for most players who want to be efficient or play on the hardest difficulty, it's really easy once you upgrade your favorite gun and the glove. Something that stood out to me as a console pleb was the DualSense 5 immersion. When monsters were in the ducts, the controller would vibrate on that corresponding side. As they crawl from one side of the vent to the other, I could feel it in my controller, and it added that extra layer of immersion. I mentioned earlier that the game nails atmosphere. As we go deeper into the prison, it becomes more grotesque, something that actually made my skin crawl. Unfortunately, that's not enough to carry a game like this. There are no puzzles or a sense of urgency, and it made me appreciate Mr. X from Resident Evil 2. Video from last week. Mr. X kept the pressure on me whether I was lost or doing a puzzle. Made me feel like I needed to get out of Dodge. Callisto Protocol, I feel none of that. Especially considering we're breaking out of a prison for half of the game. If I may use one more analogy, Callisto Protocol is like a rich kid with little to no personality. All flash and no substance.
Getting the trophy doesn't even make me feel better. I'm just glad this is over.
If even after watching this video you still want to try Callisto Protocol, I recommend you do, on sale, or free on Game Pass or something. It's always good to form your own opinion instead of listening to some guy with too much time on his hands on YouTube and wait a minute. Despite everything I said, this game had potential. Some ways I done fucked this game though, just make the prison escape the whole game. Mixing the horror of the outbreak with the horror of the prison system would have been an interesting concept. Give Jacob a reason to escape, maybe to see his child or something. It would make me care more about his unjust imprisonment, make it more tragic, and make me want to root for him. Let characters like Elias and Danny breathe so I care when bad stuff happens to them. Show more of Ferris and the Warden's cruelty so I can hate them properly. Keep the Warden as the main villain. No Shadow Organization cliche. It makes the story feel more personal. Not saying these are perfect ideas. Hell, I'm no game developer, but did I cook or not? Let me know down below. And thanks for watching. Any ideas on how to improve these videos, feel free to tell me. Like and sub if you feel like I've earned it. And question of the day, what high profile game has disappointed you lately? Stop by Twitch where I trophy hunt while chat bullies me. Discord's always looking for new members and we always have cookies. Next week will be the legendary Resident Evil 4. I played the original for the first time and man, wasn't an experience. So get ready for bingo time. Till next time, it's Mateo Vert, your favorite backlog gamer, and you guys stay safe.